Welcome to the School of Athens. We got our boy Storm here on the episode, so glad to have you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for being here, man.
Pleasure.
It's a privilege. Yeah, I'm excited for this conversation. As you guys can see, we got this beautiful view here in Val de Vie. And Storm, I think the main thing is, right, for people that don't know you, do you mind giving them a bit of a brief introduction as to who you are, what are you currently doing, and we can sort of break that down through the episode.
Sweet. Well, my name's Storm. I always introduce myself as Storm like the weather, because people, when on the calls, they always think I say Sean. So I have to just reiterate that. 30 years old. I run a company called Blight & Co. We consult guys in the info product space, online and traditional. But in a nutshell, that's pretty much what we're doing right now.
Awesome, man. What kind of got you into the space in the first? Like, you obviously started it, like you mentioned, we had a chat, a couple minutes ago. You started when you were quite young and the info space wasn't as big back then. Like, what got you even into the space?
I think it's been coming since I was 15, 16, and that's 15 years ago.
Exactly.
When Gary Vee was running at Casey Neistat was starting to become,
the OGs.
Yeah. I was telling him earlier, Stephen Bartlett was doing vlogs with his social, I think it's called Social Chain back then, before he sold it. I used to follow him on Facebook. Like, Facebook was big. And,
Facebook was big.
Facebook was big back then. And so, yeah, in a nutshell, I would watch YouTube videos. I only got my first phone at 13 or 14. And so when I got access to YouTube, it was through mates, and I'd find these motivational chats, and all of a sudden we were listening to Dale Carnegie and all of these things back then. And we made a pact that we would be successful then already, like at 21, while we were 16, 17. And so I would run into the kitchen and tell my parents how motivated I am. I'm going to be so flipping successful, this, that, and the other thing. And they're like, relax, man, relax. And I'm like, yeah, I want a Lambo, I want this, I want that. And I'd go to school, and the only classes I ever paid attention to was business and consumer studies, ironically, which is exactly what's helped me today, which I love. And I just wanted to get into marketing, which I thought was my game, marketing, operations, all of that. And I wanted to go and study at a school where I would be introduced to the parents of my friends. So I chose AAA instead of going to UWC or something like that to study, marketing, because of the parents. Because I knew if I could get around the right people, I'd be able to forward my career a little bit better. Because I come from Goodwood, and I was like, I got to get out of here. There's nothing wrong with it, but I want more.
Yeah.
And so that kind of started that whole trajectory of asking a lot of questions. Reading books like How to Sell Anything to Anyone by Frederick Eklund, because I also watched $1 Million Listings. I mean,
That's Ryan Sir.
Ryan Sir and Frederick Eklund was his partner, and Luis Ortiz, and I took more of a liking to Frederick.
Okay.
He's a bit more flamboyant, and I was I like this guy's personality. I love how he interacts with people. So he wrote a book. And my friend used to go to acting class, and he would teach me how to, like, when you're speaking to people, when they're talking, you listen like this, and you engage and all that kind of stuff. So
Tilt your neck a bit.
Doing everything I could to get ahead. Always had lots of ideas, never really understood how to do anything, take action or anything like that. So that would be the typical conversation between my dad and I about like how you're just a dreamer, or friends, parents, they'd be like, you're just a dreamer.
You should tell that story. Like, when we walked back here, like,
oh, sick,
people telling you, like, I think that will resonate with the audience.
Yeah, so I left high school. I went to Fairbairn College. My whole life I played sports and all those kinds of things. I was pretty good at it, and I thought that would be my career. I wasn't big enough to go and play pro. And so when we left school, I took a gap year. I wanted to build a business, and I had this idea. All of my friends went to study. And so one of my mates stayed in a student accommodation, and he would only normally have peanut butter and bananas or like pasta or whatever. And one night we made some crazy food, and I was like, sick, we should build a platform called Student Live, where we talk about business and we get them bands. And you'll hear most students nowadays, they have this idea of like, let's create a group or community where we get discounts at the pub or whatever. I took that far enough while I was waitering to get in front of a guy that was willing to have a chat with me and actually give me money for this. And I went to my dad and I said, you got to take me to this guy's meeting, because he's going to give me money. Like, I was applying for like loans at business partners and all that kind of stuff, and doing what I could. And so he said, no, you're fucking crazy. You need to get a job in 30 days or you're out. I was like,
out of the house.
Yeah, and I was like, he's never gonna do it. Like, there's no way. So obviously every single day I'm working on my business. I'm not trying to look for a job or anything like that. Eventually kicked me out. He was nice enough to go drop me off at my mate's house. And my mate's dad was like, what are you doing here? I said, I just need a place to stay for 7 days or whatever. And so my mate would go and work every single day, and I would stay at home and I would be working on my business.
And the thing is, like, you're obviously working on it, but you don't, especially with online business, you don't get the results immediately. With a job, you work 30 days later, paycheck.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I look back at it now, like before I bring the punchline in, if I take the experience I have now, that thing would have been up and running in a week, right? And back then you don't really know, like all you're getting is a lot of like motivation. You're getting a lot of you should start a business, but no one's really like dopamine. No one's giving you the steps to actually make it happen. And I didn't have the people around me to do that either. All the money, all the know-how. And so one night, my mate's out at work, and I'm busy working on my laptop. I got this a calendar on my table, or at their bar, and his dad turns around, he looks at me, he goes, "You're never going to be successful. You're never going to get what you want because you just don't know how to work. Like you're a dreamer." And I'm sitting there going, like, I'm just going to take it. Like my whole life, I just took it, and that actually stuck with me for a while. And I was like, shit. I have something to prove now. I have to show them that this is something that I can do. And that like kind of put me in a whirlwind, almost a spiral in a way, where all I wanted to do was just make connections, meet people, do certain things. That's why I love the restaurant industry, and that's exactly why I didn't go to work at Spur at N1 City. I went to work at the waterfront because I wanted to be in and around people who had already made some sort of success. And Instagram wasn't that big where you were comparing yourself to anyone at the time. So it was all shaking hands, looking in the eyes. I would take some of the tips that I'd make that night, and I'd buy the table a bottle of wine and sit down and chat with them. And no one liked it. They were like, "Stomp, get the fuck away from the clients." The clients enjoyed it, and my parents would be like, "Why are you using the money you made to give back to the clients?" I'm like, "That's my way of building a relationship."
Yeah.
But yeah, that was up until I was maybe 17, 18, 19. Then I told him.
Were you living at this point? Still at
all at home.
Oh, okay.
Well, I had then eventually gone back home because his dad was like, "Get out! Like this is not my responsibility. You're eating my food, you're eating my whatever. Go back home." We had a big chat. Eventually, I got a job, which was at a restaurant, and then I ended up working at Burberry as well. And I did the exact same thing, talking to customers, finding out where they're from, not in an invasive way, just enough to build a relationship so that when they came back, I could engage with them again. And build a client list, evidently. But even then, the people that I worked with, their dreams were just to make 10,000 Rand a month or 15,000 Rand a month. They never wanted to get out of work in retail, where I was sitting there as like a 19, 20-year-old going like, I'm going to be super rich. They'd laugh at me. My suit never fit. It was broken on the inside. My shoes had holes in. My socks were frot, because I went out the night before and I had to walk from town from my mate's house to work. I had one instance where I was walking to work where a guy said, "Hey dude, can you please give me some money?" And I said, "Sure." I literally opened my wallet and I was like, "There's a couple of cents in there." But I managed to have smokes all the time. I managed to have a lift wherever I needed to go. I managed to eat wherever I was. And I still never lost that need to succeed or that drive of like, I'm going to be successful. I have no idea how I'm going to do it. But that's what I want to do. And so fast forward to working in financial services. I was sitting on a couch at a friend of a friend's house. This guy would do like drugs every night, and me and my girlfriend at the time were living in a small room. It's a 2-bedroom house in Parklands. And I would take the My City bus to this interview. I'd still listen to jazz every Sunday, drink my glass of wine, and I'd buy smokes. That was my thing. Buy the business Times, buy smokes, and a glass of wine. And this one Sunday, there was a big image of Liberty in Century City. I looked at it, I was like sick. It was some merger they had done with Standard Bank, or Liberty and Standard Bank had done another deal together because they're basically partners. And so I said, that would be cool to work as a financial advisor. I'm sure that could work. Wednesday, I get a call from a lady saying, "We want to interview you." And I'm like, "How the hell do you guys want me to be a financial advisor? I don't have any money." Rocked up there with my gold chain, black on black suit, still got all the holes in, confident through the roof. Do the interview, tell her my story. She's like, "You got to meet this guy." And at the time, it was a boyfriend, and I met him, and he had a similar story. He'd come from not nothing, but he struggled to get somewhere. And he's like, "Cool, I want to mentor you." And at the time, I had a job offer to work at a tile company in Pardon Island. When you're on the N1, you can see those tile companies there.
Oh, yeah.
They were offering me 15K at the time to be a salesman. And I was like, that's not bad at 21, 22. And then I had the offer for being the financial advisor, and I went to them and said, look, I really want to do this. I want to be an entrepreneur, a business owner. I want to make my own money, all that kind of stuff. And you've showed me the commission structures. This looks crazy. I need to pay rent though. Is there any way you can give me like a signing bonus? She went and increased the credit limit to give me money to pay my rent.
Wow.
One thing is, if you don't ask, you'll never get it.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can just sometimes ask. Yeah.
Exactly, and it sounded super desperate. It was like weird. Like,
yeah.
why would I ask for something like that? And so that the opportunity for me was big enough to push that far because I really wanted it. I saw a future there. I liked who I was working with, and so for the first year I made a bit of money. The second year, every single policy lapsed, and I had to pay all the money back. And while I was doing that, my dad would drop me off at work every single day, and you can trust I was there in a three-piece suit every single day. My watch that I was wearing was a battery-powered watch, but the batteries were flat, it didn't work. And so, you know, I would have meetings with clients, and they'd look at me and go, "You're so young, all you want is my money." And I'm like, dude, I'm dressing for success. My watch doesn't work. I can show you my shoes, I can show you my belt, it's broken. Like, I'm here to build something, and that's why I want to work with you. So even then I would go and build relationships with the people downstairs at the door, because we used to take walk-ins, buy them coffee, a chocolate, make nice. Upstairs, make sure you know who's in charge of processing policies and all that kind of stuff so you can make things happen. And with all of that, spotting a hole in his business where I said to him, I can run your back end. I think I'm better behind than in front. So let me become a really good number two. And so I'll prove that to you. And he asked me, what are you worth? And I said, 5,000 Rand, I guess. Let me just show you what I can do. That year we made a mil.
Wow.
And it was the first time he'd ever made a mil. It was the first time I ever produced that amount of money.
What do you specifically do for him on the back end?
Ops, systems, processes. Speed to lead was the big one. So I would handle all of the client comms, onboarding, for example, that we know now. I would go and sit with the client beforehand, and I would do the financial needs analysis.
And where did you learn that skill? Did that come from you just being like networking, working with people like that, nurturing people, trying to network? Is that sort of where that came from? Yeah. Nurtured that skill, and then you sort of just learned along the way, right?
Yeah. Dude, we went out for brandies every Friday. I had no money. I don't know how, and I would be the one that's the most pissed. And I was that guy. But I was still around, I think most of it came down to, I was actually trying to prove something. I was actually super shy, and I was probably more pretending and protecting myself.
Like faking it till you make it.
But I saw it this resonated. Like, I think our story is very. I mean,
everyone's
stories that pursues this, because I mean, entrepreneurship or taking a risk like this, it's not, and then to an extent seeing the other side, the light, and seeing some success. The type of person that makes it thus far, it's a one of a kind type person, right? It's not everyone that can do that, and it takes a certain caliber of person. And I think most people, you can almost draw a line between everyone's like stories, right? There's sort of like a pain somewhere, and now you sort of either prove someone wrong or prove someone right, depending on what your mind state was at that time, and then you just pursue through that, right? Because you need a deep sense of why for you to be able to pursue through the hell that comes with the unknown, with entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah.
And that's such a beautiful thing, because in the beginning as well, I always felt like you could probably call this imposter syndrome, I guess, but it's like almost faking courage in a courageous moment, right? Yeah. But like faking courage in a courageous moment is you are courageful. It's not like if you are courageous. And it's the more you do that, when you realize, if you look back and 9 out of 10 times you were courageous, well, that's you now, and it's a process of eliminating everything that does not resonate with that. Yeah. But I think that the beauty of your story was getting a point or having something to prove, and that took you through all the times where you were pushed out of the house or whatever, you didn't have money, and that sort of kept you going, right?
Yeah. But I mean, I can give my dad all the credit, because I think he saw how much I wanted it, and then because he drove me to work every day, because he taught people how to ride motorbike and all that kind of stuff.
When did that relationship flip?
He either gave up or he just decided, you know what, I think this kid's got something, he's got the potential.
Yeah, he's not quitting.
He's not quitting, so I need to support him.
Yeah.
And so he did. and luckily it was on the way. So, and that's what gave me the start in my career. Was he would drop me off at 6-7 o'clock in the morning, and he would come fetch me at 8-9 o'clock at night. So I'm going, okay, well, I've got 12-13 hours at work.
Yeah.
I'm just going to graft.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that naturally. That work ethic did not exist. And so, I mean, again, to my dad, he's the reason why I played A-side for Edgemead, because I played D-team and C-team for the first 3-4 years, and then he paid a coach to train me with the A-side guys. And the next year I played A-side. I went to Ajax, and out of 500 kids, I made the top 18. Soccer.
Oh, soccer.
Soccer, yeah. All because I was in and around that environment, and I was learning the skills that simple. When you receive the ball, stop, control, pass. And now when we do things in business, we have the first 3 steps that we take. Find a problem, find a person with the problem, present a solution. It's pretty much the same. And all those little techniques that you kind of pay for, and that's why people work with the likes of us, because we have a bit of extra info. But yeah, it was crazy. Like, I had to go and I needed petrol to go and close a client in Stellenberg, and I was driving my dad's van. It was diesel, so it was a little bit cheaper, and I didn't have any smokes either. So it was my boss at the time, and later became business partners. Said to me, "Look, I'm not giving you any money for petrol. You're gonna have to go and ask people for money now." And so he made me walk around the building, looking fancy, asking for $10 or $5 or $20. And I was the guy who walked with my shoulders up high. I was the life of the party, no money. And I had to go and ask people if I could go and get cash so I can go close these clients, which I never closed. I still remember, I think about them all the time. We used to have coffees and chat shit and all that kind of stuff, but there was just nothing that worked. And the way that I got them as potential clients was I ran a drawing competition with a local school. And the parents would enter, and I'd get their details, and I would be able to phone them. So I was prospecting as much as I could, but it never turned into anything. But those moments, I think, made me not afraid to ask, which is the point.
So if you enjoy this conversation and you relate with the health and wealth aspect, and both of these are very important when it comes to scaling a business or just as an entrepreneur in general, top link in the description if you want a more personalized approach, to scaling a business or in the health aspect as well. And also in the description is access to our free community where we've got 20 hours of content that you can just consume.
100%. If you enjoy this conversation, share it to a friend. Maybe think about subscribing, put the notifications on. It helps the channel a lot. And by doing so, we can get some more interesting guests like this. So let's get back to the video.
A good exercise is like at a coffee shop or Virgin Active, the Kauai, right? Like this one time I went to them and I usually get like a smoothie afterwards. And I just asked them like, yo, I'm a loyal customer. I come here every single day. Can I just have this smoothie for free? The exact same thing as just ask. And they're like, sure.
No ways.
Obviously I can buy it, but it's like, let's just ask and see.
Yeah.
It's just having that skill of kind of being embarrassed and still asking. That's an invaluable skill.
Oh yeah.
And you definitely had that countless times.
100%.
Yeah.
But I mean, just to close that story off quickly, from there, that's when Iman started coming onto the scene, and I started watching him, and I would talk about Patrick Bet-David. They would use his YouTube video with his Ferrari as like motivation for the new advisors and stuff like that, and I was damn, this is pretty sick.
Was Patrick Bet-David flashy in the start? I did not know that.
Lifestyle.
I think
really?
while he was that one motivational video, when he did the whole he had the blackboard and he would write stuff down.
I remember that.
And then he had that one flashy video with his Ferrari, and I think that's what also helped a bit.
Everyone, like Ty Lopez got the Here in My Garage Lamborghini. Everyone does the flashy.
I mean, it's the easiest way to signal wealth, or at least like the perception of wealth and success, right? Like you could always just rent the stuff, whatever. I think also depending on a crowd, like PBD is not going to flash lifestyle and attract 60-year-old investors in businesses right now, right? Like that's not the type of, so he's not doing that. But like Iman, it works perfect for him because he's getting a 16 to 21-year-old guy. So that makes sense. But coming back to you wanting to speak about Iman, how did you actually get to meeting up with him and start doing work with him?
So that brings that story to a full circle moment.
Is that a whale tattoo?
Yes.
Is that for the
company?
No ways. That's it. Okay.
Yeah. So that's usually only the C-suite boys get it.
Okay.
But I think it was before the marathon or after the marathon. I think it was before the marathon. I wanted to get a tattoo, and I got this. So the watch represents beginning of time. The swallow is my opa. because he had a left hand. All the Otopies used to have one tattoo on their forearms. So that's for him, and then this was the company. So basically, the biggest moment in my life.
Oh wow!
And so I needed to remember that because, working with Iman was crazy. So I used to talk about him all the time, and I'd sit and watch in my bed at night. I'd watch till like 11, 12 o'clock all the videos, and I'd say to my boss at the time, we need to build this personal brand. We need to be like Patrick Pitava. We need to be like Iman and Gary Vee. We need to teach people about financial services and literacy, because I didn't have it, and now I understand estate planning and taxes and all this, and it's insane when you know this thing, how it works, and when you get the back end of financial institutions, you kind of get a little bit of a secret agenda going because you understand a little bit more than everybody else. I said for us to get more customers, we need to build some sort of organic personal brand then. This was just before COVID. July would have been 2019. That's when we had our biggest year. 2020 we started going, and we were going to go for 2 or 3 million that year. And I kept saying, we need to do this, we need to do this. COVID happened. That's when I met my wife now, full of family of entrepreneurs. And so immediately I'm going like, I also want to be a bit more successful than I am. I'm still earning 5-6 grand a month. And I want to impress her, you know. And she's 10 years older than me, so I want to hold her around. She's got a lot of wisdom. Her family's awesome, things like that. And eventually, myself and this guy, we get into a bit of a tiff, and he doesn't want to do that anymore. And I'm going, we don't know how long this thing's going to last. We need to build relationships. And he's like, no. So I said, cool, I'm out. Build my own agency. Iman was selling Agency Incubator at the time. It was a Sunday afternoon. I had no idea how to do it. So I just watched the VSL and I built it from there.
Incubator was the one before we did, right?
Agency Incubator is like
2020, so that's like...
Yeah, CPA, it was copy-paste agency. It could have been copy-paste agency or
we did the Navigator one.
Oh, right, like that was after that one. And so said to him, look, dude, I'm out. I'm going to start an agency. No idea what the hell I was going to do. So that's where the inspiration came from first. Like, he was very young and he was doing very well. And
how old were you at the time?
24, 25.
And you left your job to start a business that you had no idea how to do. You had no idea what the industry looked like, no clients in that domain, but you wanted to just make it happen. Predominantly because your girlfriend at the time sort of inspired you almost to a large degree. Okay, wow.
Oh, the work ethic, when you guys meet her, she's cooked.
The good way or bad way.
So she used to outwork me. So then it was and I didn't like that. I was like, I'm the man. I need to work
it takes hit on your masculinity, right?
Yeah.
Like I had it also when me and my girlfriend, my fiance, when we hit the gym because we are doing we're training for high rocks. If she hits it like harder than me, I'm like, fuck this, bro. Like I can't let my masculinity hit. Right?
So we'd work late and we'd have conversations around the table, and all I ever wanted to do or become was a COO. Like that for me was massive. I wanted the title, I could do the work, I knew that, and I wanted to make the money and live the life and all that kind of stuff. So if I was, because at that point I was convinced I was an amazing number 2. I've mentioned to Paul and them all the same thing, but I wasn't giving myself enough credit to try and become number 1, right? So anyway, I started the agency and I started taking part in something called Startup School as well at the same time, and it's just a chance to win 100K, and so I was working through that, and I came 3rd, and the guy who won was he has a fashion brand, and which I didn't understand because my whole project was basically financing for solar, and we would like pop little pods on your house and we'll pay for it and you just pay us back. This was when load shedding was at its peak, so I was like, sweet, I should actually win that. But anyway, so I didn't win, and then I started thinking about my relationship with God, and I was like, I'm not ready for it because what's coming is a lot bigger. And I'm not supposed to win this thing now. I'm not supposed to be wealthy yet. I'm not supposed to do this. So I'm like kind of scratching at whatever I can get. We have a conversation at dinner one night. Her mom's friend is over, and she's pretty set, and she's starting a new business. And I asked her, do you have a website? And she goes, no. So I said, you mind if I make you one? She goes, sweet, what do you charge? And I was like, fuck, I've never made a website. I've never registered a domain.
What led you to wanting to do a website, bro?
Money.
Wow. So that's once again, but that's important, right? Is you saw an opportunity that was not at all your domain, right? and you were on it.
Yeah.
Because you can figure out anything for free.
Yeah.
You just say, yes, I can do it. And then you're like, okay, how do I do this?
Exactly.
The desire to make it happen, that's the main thing, right? You figure out, like, I bullshitted my way in my big first opportunity, right? But you make it happen. If the desire is there, you can for sure make it happen.
And that all comes down to confidence, really.
Yeah,
That's because
and
you don't have the skill.
delusional, ignorant self-belief.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you know about websites?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
I'm the best. Yeah, I've never made a website in my life.
Yeah. So then you go into something like, oh wait, you know where it came from, was I was just about to register the company, my own one.
Okay. This is the agency, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was looking for domain registration companies or whatever, and I couldn't find one that was cheap enough for me to get started.
Yeah.
And so Hetzner became ex-Nilo, and they went digital, and you could go on there and you get a free WordPress site builder, whatever. And I think that in the back of my mind was there, and I was like, okay, I can do that because it's going to cost me $150 for the domain.
Yeah.
And so I invoiced her and she paid it without even seeing a website. And I was like, she's like, what's the deadline? I said, give me 3 weeks. And so I'm sitting there figuring this thing out, bro. It wasn't a bad website. I looked at other websites, and I think that's something that I've always been able to do is go and look at this and then replicate it into a different, on a different site, for example. Did that website, she was pretty happy with it. I didn't make it an online store yet to submit a form that was really wonky to be able to get orders, and we actually got some of that stuff. And then I said to her, you know what, having a website's one thing, but you need to, post and tell people about your stuff.
Upsell.
Yeah, and then that went from a 3K for one website to 3K a month, managing socials and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, hey, that's not too shit. I could make my way. It was COVID, and the market's quiet. No one's really making or spending any money yet. Let's work. The product was good, and I believed in it. So I was like, sweet, I'm gonna help push this. Got the product sent to me because she's from Joburg. We took some photos. We found people with kids that could help with the product, and we did all that kind of stuff. And we ran that for a couple of months. Whether she was just supporting me because she liked me or something, I will never know. But my next 2 clients came from that, which was my next 3K a month, which was my another website. And one was, I never niched down or anything like that. It was a kids product, another online store for kids clothing, and a motor car dealer in Joburg.
So what's the main service that you were doing for them now? Was it the social media?
Social media, website management, stuff like that.
Okay.
And then I was like making, 6 or 9 grand a month. Then I phoned my dad and I'm like, listen, pal, it's time that we get your company on the map. And he goes, I don't need to run ads. I've got clients, referrals, business. I can only see so many people a day. And I'm pushing him for ads. He's like, no, I don't want to do ads. So I said, let me at least manage your site and your socials or whatever. He's like, sweet. So there's extra 2K a month. Now I'm thinking like, cool, now I've got 10 grand a month. It's not too bad. It's double what I was making before. But now I'm ready to push. So I go have a conversation with one of the other family members who's really successful. And the first thing he asked me is, what's your niche? Like, who are you speaking to directly? It's like, what the fuck do you mean, what's a niche? Like, all I used to hear guys from America say is niche.
Yeah,
and I was like, niche. Like, what do you mean, niche? And so he says niche, and I'm like, okay, what is it? He goes, what area of business are you targeting? I said, you know what I think is a great idea right now, especially because more and more people are working from home, is co-working spaces. And I was like, light bulb moment. I'm going to go after co-working spaces. Type out a very nice email, and it's not your standard. And I think this is because of the relationships that I've been able to write better emails because I know how to speak to people.
Like increase. Skill.
And then I start thinking about your customer's customer. And I'm like, what am I going to offer these guys? And how is it going to help their customer? And how can I make them see the problem that I'm solving so that they'll let me in on a meeting, for example? And so I found 15 co-working spaces in Cape Town, emailed them all the same thing. I said, listen, I run an agency. We do X, Y, and Z, and I can assist. I can be your in-house marketing guy for all of your customers, because a lot of those businesses are just getting started, all that kind of stuff. So for an extra $500, I can be your consultant for all of them in your guys. And I was like, how can I get a lot of clients quickly? And I was like, let's go to where there are a lot of people that want to build their business. I got one meeting, didn't go too well. Second meeting was my first ever Zoom call, and with a guy named Louis from Venture Workspace. They ended up having 3 branches, and he gave me an opportunity. He said, come speak to our shareholders. So there was 3 of them. And I was shit nervous.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Okay, now, it's during a time where I'm living it with my girlfriend and her mom, and we have a conversation, and they're like, my bro, you got to start contributing to living here. You can't just hang on our necks, dude. Like, what's going on here? So I'm like, okay, sweet. Now I start racking up a bill, and I'm paying back the bill. So I'm on the back foot the whole time. And I need to go do this meeting, and I don't want to complain that I don't have cash or anything like that. I'll go switch on the Polo, put on the thing to see how many kilometers I've got left. It's like 120 kilometers, and I've got to drive to Constantia. And we're living in Boston at the time. And I'm like, I'm going to run out of fuel at some point. I don't know how confident I am about this, but let's go and close this guy. So we go and have a look, and we're sitting around the table. I do a little presentation. I explain to them what we're going to do. And I realize in the meeting, I can't help more than one co-working space in the same area because competition. And I was like, well, I'll exclusively work with you guys, and we'll build this brand into something else. And they were just opening a third branch as well. And I was like, cool. I'll tell you what, I'll work with all 3 branches for one price because I just wanted the deal. And I'll manage socials, and we'll do little activations, but I also want to do the 3 branches times 50 seats per branch, 150 people at a $500 extra per month. That's for me. Yeah, we'll get there. Sweet. Main financial shareholder says, can I trust you to give you a chance at this and to do what you say you're going to do? Yes. He's like, sweet, you have a deal, shake hands, boom, cash in the bank. And then that was my first reach out, get a client, have a meeting, go through the process. And I'm going, fuck, okay, here we go. This is proper. Now I have a business. And so I would rock up there. We'll do little activations. I set up a podcast with all of their guests or clients that they had in there to talk a bit more about their business. And then I had my first experience where one of their guys had the same idea that was paying them already to run ads for them, which I didn't do yet. And we had a meeting with all 3 of us, and he goes, well, Storm, this guy can do the same thing you can do, but he does it better. So I was like, well, let him do what he's good at and run ads, and I'll just run the rest of the stuff. So that was the first time I had to argue to retain. But yeah, and so we need to get back to how I ended up working with Iman. So that's when I was contacted to go and become an MD of the financial services company with the previous guy that I worked with, that we made money with at Liberty. And I said, cool. He said, I'll pay you 25K a month. It's the same you're making with your agency. It's an opportunity to run this business. And I'm going, here's my ticket. I'm 27 years old. This is it. I'm the MD. I got the title. I got the leverage. I got the authority. I'm going to do the exact same thing we did before. First 6 months, we doubled rev. Hired new staff. We did all that kind of stuff. And I was like, cool, let's go. Got to a point where we just weren't seeing eye to eye on how fast I wanted to go. And that's when I reached out to Vusi. And I would say to my business partner, I need a mentor. I need someone to teach me about the big game. Paid Vusi, ended up not getting on the first call with him because I was sick and he was in LA. So I jumped on the call and he wasn't there. And so the meeting was being recorded. And I said, you know what, he's going to get this recording. I'm just going to speak to the computer. So I ended up speaking for the whole half an hour about where I'm at and what decisions I need to make. And I want to bet on myself again, and I'm not sure. And he ends up messaging me. He's like, cool, let's set up another call. And it's in working time now with where I'm at. So you don't really want to do that.
Yeah,
it's not fair. And so I have this conversation with him, and the whole message of the whole call is, you know exactly what you need to do, make the decision and go for it.
It's a reassurance. But we've had that so many times where you pay for mentorship. Because I mean, that's one thing that Andre and I believe in heavily, right? Is investing in whether that be networking, but essentially it's just people, right? That have either achieved what you've wanted to achieve, or further down the line, or have some experience or knowledge that you were looking for, and essentially you're giving them money and they're giving you back time, right? That you just they tell you what mistakes to not make, and time is the most valuable thing, right?
Yes.
And so, but like the main thing that we get through mentorship, whether you pay 10K US for this or that, whatever, it's mostly the same thing. It's like either split test, because I'm also not sure, or reassuring that what we are doing will work. And because of that reassurance of someone that has already done it, we allow ourselves now to actually bet on ourselves and take action consistently, because someone else who has made it told us it will work.
Yeah.
And now we are able to work through the friction without seeing any results consistently. And that is that is the most valuable thing, right? Vusi just saying it will work, take action. You were like, fuck yeah, let's make this happen. That's so interesting.
Yeah, so I think for the people that are watching, especially if they're feeling like they're on the edge, this is the moment, I think, where they're going to see the answer. Where with him saying that, Iman posted they wanted a video editor. I think you might have been on that group.
Oh, is this the same time that you guys...
It could have been...
2022?
Yes. Could have been around the same time. And I was like, I can do video editing. I know how to use, I know how to
Knows
use
nothing about doing video
yeah.
editing, but
I
fuck
can,
it.
iMovie's pretty chill, like it's nothing crazy, you know.
At the time, I only knew CapCut. I'm like, yo, let's get into it.
Your CapCut was around already then, you know, so it's like, fuck, okay, well, let me apply for this. And I said, maybe I'm not going to apply for this. But already I'm halfway out of the door with the current company that I'm at. And so that opportunity passed. The deadline closed. And I'm sitting there going, this was my opportunity to make $2,500 a month or whatever dollars. And, you know, that's a decent up in salary. And then the next opportunity came where they're looking for SSCs. And what you needed to do was teach people how to start an agency. I was like,
SSCs, what does that sound?
Student Success Concierge.
Okay.
So we were taking one-on-one guys, 7 to 8 hours a day. We would work with people on how to start an agency while they went through the program or whatever.
Was that one-on-one with each person, like 7 hours?
Yeah, I did like 150 people a week or something like that. I'll have to check the maths on that, but it was busy.
Wow.
Yeah, and so at the time, my laptop needed to be plugged in all the time, and we had load shedding. So when the power went out, my laptop was dead.
Yeah.
And so I applied for the gig. I got into the call, dressed up, used Monique's laptop, dressed up with my white crisp shirt because I'm in corporate, like that's what I do. And I jump on a group call, you know, they went and they said, okay, cool, boys and girls, introduce yourself, and they're always looking for one person to take action to kind of stand out. And that's the first thing I did. I said, because everybody starts talking at the same time. So immediately I was like, oh, ladies, gents, let's just start at this person, what's your name, who you are, blah, blah. Paul comes in, interrupts, he's like, sweet, we're not going to do this, waiting room, start cutting. Next exercise, just have chats, ask questions, what are you doing right now? And Paul says straight away, he's like, Emmanuel, this kid looks way too stiff for this industry. And I have no idea what he means by that because I've never been in it. And I'm like, yeah, well, this is just how we dress, you know, like to look smart and stuff like that. I can wear a white t-shirt if I really need to. And he's like, sweet. And then he goes, what's one thing that you feel like you have a skill that other people don't have? So I said, this is going to sound super arrogant, but I can start a conversation with the topic and then I could kind of control the conversation. And that's the worst thing to say. Because he's like, no, that's cocky, brother. That's not going to work here, kind of thing. I was like, shit, so waiting room. Now I'm in the last group. Don't know how I made it past that. And load shedding's about to start, and I'm getting nervous, I'm like, I have to make this decision. So Paul goes, cool. Storm, you got to prove why you need to be here, brother. So Emmanuel goes, I think you need to sing a song.
What?
And I've never sang out loud in front of a crowd.
Why would
Is
they
that the
say
vetting
that?
process?
It's part of the vetting process. So you get into the company, we used to make you rap on lyrics or whatever.
What?
Like, crazy. And I'm a
We
shy
need to do
guy,
that.
right?
Implement that.
I'm a shy guy. And we talked about courage earlier.
Yeah,
It was like one of those moments where I'm like, oh, dude. And I'm like,
This is the weirdest shit.
why are you
way.
making me work so hard for this? Like, and he goes, what song do you want to sing? And the first song that comes to my mind is Michael Bublé's Feeling Good, right? And in the moment, I lose the words. I'm like, I don't know what the words are.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like, cool, no music, you just got to go.
No music.
So in my mind,
not even
nothing.
an instrumental.
so there was a reel that was on, or Facebook Reels at the time. It was Michael Bublé with the fan, and it starts with the birds flying high, you know how I feel, blah, 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 or sun in the sky. And I got nowhere, and I actually hit some notes. And I was like, shit. And that impressed him enough to go, this kid's got balls, let him stay. And I was one of the older guys on the call again. So I'm thinking I have a disadvantage now as well.
Okay.
And so they said, okay, last group, 5 or 6 guys, you guys are chosen to get started. What's the reason you can't start on Monday? And I was like, I'm MD of a financial services company. I've got a 3-month resignation notice. I've got to sign over docs, all that kind of stuff. So he goes, if you can, in front of everybody, he says, if you can get out of that contract by Thursday, you can start on Monday. Or it was like a weekend thing or something like that. And I said to Monique, fuck, this is an opportunity. Like, I'm going to get to work with Iman. He's kind of like...
Who said that to you on the call? Was that
Paul.
Paul? Okay.
Yeah. And then he said, cool, we're going to go through vetting. You're going to go speak to Max. You're going to do this. And he says to you, warns me, he says, bring the spice. Because I've seemed very boring.
Paul said this to you?
Yeah. And which is fake. But I think Paul's a great CEO, dude. Like, one of the guys, if I had to ever start a massive... I think of him as a very good person in business and as a mentor and as a person.
I would have to come back to why you think so, but continue story.
Cool. And so we get through the process, load shedding happens, we go through the whole thing, we get on the vetting call with Max, it's about an hour or two later, I go into the kitchen and I go grab fucking spice And I bring it to the call, and I said, Paul wants me to, or he goes something like, Paul said you must bring the spice. I said, yeah, it is. And that made an impression on Max. And Max is German, so he's like, he found it funny, and I was like, cool. And that made a decent enough impression on him to give me my next chance. Then you get into whole week. And I said to Monique, here's the contract, here's what it looks like. I'm getting cash in, I need a new laptop because I'm taking calls. She's like, not until the deal's done. So a whole week is 7 days, you go through it, you do test calls or whatever. So I'm like, sweet, I'm in. Paul goes, mock call. I'm like, oh no.
Mock call?
Like doing a introduction, discovery, transition, all that kind of stuff.
This is for sales calls now.
For the sales calls or even for the coaching calls. And so I get on my first one and I absolutely ruin it. Like I go super red, my laptop's down like this, I'm looking down at him, so he gives me all these tips. And I come back and we have a second chance and I speak to Andries, we have a little conversation, and then I go back and I do some research on Paul Daly, the name, and I find that there was a UFC fighter named Paul Daly, and he goes, oh, you Googled my name. And somehow we got into the topic of soccer, and I was like, oh,
fuck yeah, I know this.
yes.
Yeah.
Connection, let's go, commonality, we can talk about this. And then he said, cool, you're in. You can get started on calls. You start doing call reviews. Now, what we did at Educate, we were very hard on feedback. Like it just became natural. And people don't like feedback. But it became second nature for us to say, this is shit, fix it, make it better. It was never, you're a cunt. It's always, we want you to get better, because that's part of one of the values is better every day. And so I'm like super proud of myself. I'm like, I'm working with Iman. But you're obviously not super close with him. Your levels down. And so you get in your first few calls, you start helping people, and the first month comes past and we do a monthly call, and I get the shout out of the month from Paul. Bro. Wow. And then obviously Iman's on the call and I'm going, no ways. This is crazy. Yeah, like this is it. Like, fuck, okay, cool. So then I'm like, cool, and I went into the company knowing like, I've got experience, I know how to do this, but I'm gonna shut the fuck up and I'm gonna listen and learn. And I'm gonna work as hard as I can. I don't think I've ever worked that hard in my life. Hours on hours on hours. And all of that extra time I spent in the company solidified my position later on when we made cuts. And then that helped me get into the product team, and that helped me do the scripting, and that helped me do all these other kinds of things. And the one other thing that I did that nobody else did was when I got in, I made appointments with every single person that I could to get to know them. My first person was our son. And I just started hitting calls, and I needed to make sure everybody knew who I was. And so we did that, and we took part, and that's how I got to work with Iman. And the first time I actually got to meet him was at the marathon, and I ended up being the guy that he talks about on the one video. He says like, this one guy got into the car and then got back out again, whatever. Like that's my moment, because I decided to like not quit, but I was done for. My leg spasmed at 12.5K, and I got 42 to run. Got back, and I walked the rest of the way, got in the car. Tristan's like, are you done? I'm like, yeah, I'll let the guys know. So he messages him on, obviously he storms out. And I'm going, no chance, brother. The rest of the boys are coming back from Seikabossi and they're hurting. And Yentel's going to run by herself now because I'm not with her. I can't let that happen. Like, I got to show them what I'm worth. Fuck the legs, bro. Get out and go run. Ended up walking the rest of the way. And then we had about 10 or 12 Ks left. He'd already finished. He came back to fetch us.
Who's this now?
Iman.
Right.
And so he ran with us, and every single time I try to slow down and stop, he'd put his hand on my back and go, come, but let's just a little bit more. It's just calf, relax, just run, take it easy. Yeah, amazing. And then we would walk a little bit, and then we started talking about the future of the company, and we started talking about all the different things like Big Day, and we had a nice chance to catch up. And we finished the race, we had our chance, and then we ended up going out that night to arcade. And I remember not being able to take a sip of alcohol. My body just didn't want to do anything.
After the marathon,
yeah. And we had a jaw, and we were there with everyone. Arthur was there, some of the guys from Europe came down as well. And we had an awesome time. And he came to greet Monique, hey, nice to meet you, blah, blah. And so that was kind of that. Life went on, kept working at the company, we did our thing, we had new launches, and I got involved with the Flowsy build and all that kind of stuff, and we also launched Digital Launchpad, and then we had a Cape Town meetup with DL, and I was invited to go to meet the guys at the house in Cape Town. And so this is when I think I made a bit more of an impression on him, was when we were sitting at the table. He's sitting at the head of the table, it's one of the students, myself, Louise, Tristan, Alex was at the end, and then 2 other students, Sam Kellor and him. And so I'm thinking, like, we're talking about starting a business, we're talking about getting clients. I need to say something. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say nothing. I'm part of the team. And every time I want to say something, somebody interrupts me, and I'm like, fuck, I don't even know, my body won't
That was my
move.
chance.
Yeah, because before he's very chilled, and before we were chatting and we were sitting around talking shit and kicking the ball around, me and Louise, and when we got to the dinner table, I was a little bit sweaty already, and the guy asked a question, and then I just went, and I looked at him and he says, cool. He like nodded, and he said, it's okay, you can say something. And so I spoke about it, and this is the one thing I said was, when you're reaching out to people that you want to, don't send them a direct DM, wait for their story to come on, and then respond to their story, because they'll most probably see that more. But if you want to know when they do a story, just turn on post notifications of the top 5 people you want to build a relationship with or whatever. And he was like, that's actually pretty smart. And I was like, cool, lekker. There you go. Foundation sorted. I just kept working hard. Then we became part of the product team, and we ran the digital sovereignty event, and that's when I worked with Flozy, and I managed the build out of that. And he was pretty happy with the way that was being run. That's when my relationship with Pierre started becoming better. And then we got to meet again at Andres' wedding. We saw each other again, and that was after I left. So no bad blood, no issues, nothing. Like, in fact, it was actually pretty sweet how I heard the guys were arriving, and I went out to the door, and he had walked towards the house and turned back towards the car, and I opened the door, and we kind of like locked eyes, and he's like, oh, there he is, and we like kind of ran and embraced each other weirdly. But it's lekker, like,
Wow.
And I think it's one of the reasons why I say maybe some guys need to go and work for a company to learn the basics first.
Oh, that's massive.
While they are starting out.
I think that's so big, right? It's like, because that is that is to a large degree part of, like, that is your mentorship now, right?
Yeah.
You're just getting paid to learn.
Yes.
Because you're in this business, like, if you have the opportunity to work with someone great, to actually get perspective, like, if you're starting a business from scratch, you have no idea what to compare it with. So now you need to pay for mentorship to see what's possible,
Yes.
right? But if you're working for someone like Iman or in any big business, right, then you see, how do they do the ops? How do they speak with the team? How strict are they with feedback? Like, how does the meetings work? And then you get to compare. So when you then start the business, then you have something to compare it with, and then, like, where you sort of start, or how you keep yourself, how should I say, like, not accountable, like, but like the quality of work you want to put out is going to be so much higher.
Yeah, standard,
Being like in the Slack channel, just seeing all the wins coming through.
Yeah.
I learned so much more, or like the value of that is so much more than the money I was making.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
Oh,
and
yeah.
at the time I didn't realize it, but also at that time I felt richest ever. Going from like $0 to a couple $1,000, like that was just, especially in South Africa, game changer.
Oh, dude, that immediately, it was like we were living with mom-in-law, and I said to Monique, cool, we're out. We're going to find a spot to live. And she said, I'm not paying a cent. That's your responsibility. I said, cool, and she was right. And so we managed to find a place, and that's been my responsibility ever since, is to look after the family, and they gave me that start. Like I said, I'd never worked as hard in my life, and I will do it again and again and again and again. And for people out there who don't know what he's like he was on calls with us morning, afternoon, night. Early, late, whenever, Saturdays, Sundays, he was there. When we got to a point where, we'd be on WhatsApp and stuff like that, you'd see how he would think, and like how he would pop a YouTube video in, or he'd pop a document in, or he'd pop an idea in, and go, what do you guys think?
Is he different? Like,
he's normal. Like, he works harder than everybody else.
Oh, yeah,
That's like, he made a post the other day about how restless he is. I think you feel the restlessness. I think you feel the restlessness, and a lot of the guys that follow you guys feel the restlessness. And they need to pay attention to that, because that means that I don't want to say that you're the chosen one or one of the chosen ones, but that means that you're meant for more. You need to figure out what that is, and then just share that with everybody else. But
So when working with Iman, it was actually pretty funny. I hopped on a call with Emmanuel. I think I was doing some sales, and I actually got left there. I was just kicked out or whatever, fired, whatever you want to call it.
Fired.
Yeah. And then Emmanuel hopped on a call afterwards, and he's like, yo, Andre's such a G, and he posted on the everyday chat.
Yeah.
And then Tristan's like, yo, he's not on the team anymore. Like, oh goodness. He was like, Emmanuel Yeah, I felt very bad at that moment. But that was like a pivotal moment for me as well.
Yeah.
It's like, you're pretty comfortable, living good. Like I said, the richest I've ever felt. Obviously, I wanted more. I invested in mentorship courses with that money, but all around pretty comfortable. And then when I got kicked out there, it was almost like getting kicked out of your nest.
Yes.
You know, now you have to fly.
Yeah.
It's like what you also mentioned, like an hour ago. Burning the boats back against the wall. I feel like that's when you can really, it's like spark your potential.
Oh yeah, and it's not that scary when you think about burning the boats, because another way to think about it is, let's say you burn the boats and you end up not making it to land and you're drowning. If you keep trying to paddle up to get air, you're just exhausting yourself. Where you can just go down to the bottom and push yourself back up. What more do you have to lose at the end of the day? And there's so much information out there, and investing in different people, even if it's your last bit of money or whatever, is the right next step.
Yeah, because you're not going to save your way, especially if you're early 20s watching this. You're not going to save if you've got maybe $1,000 in your bank account, or even less, $500. It's like you're not going to save your way to $1 million. You need to invest all of that money into coaching, mentorship, trying to gain skills to then increase your income potential.
Yeah. I have a guy that I had a call with yesterday who is literally, he makes 80K a month or so, and he's just dropping money on masterminds.
Yeah. Is this rand or US?
US.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and all he's doing is masterminds, because number one, it helps him get clients, gets around people. For example, I'll tell you about Yannick. You guys know Yannick.
Yeah.
I was and this was just before I left Educate. I had a conversation with Monique, and I said, I like this guy, because his video kept popping up on YouTube, and I was like, I like Yannick. I like the way it looks. Let me watch it. Then I said to her, I'm going to meet this guy. He's in Cape Town. I need to start networking and building more relationships, because I met guys like Tom Young. We played paddle together, Tom Young's, which I also think is a dangerous guy at the moment. And so I paid the $10 to get into the community, and I made a post, and I made sure everybody knew I was there, and I caught their attention. And I saw another guy that I knew that was in there, and we ended up doing a Cape Town meetup, which I couldn't make, and eventually it was just the three of us at dinner, which ended up having a conversation, and then the rest is history. So, and now, we work together and all those kinds of things. But it's the being around the A players, like with when I was playing soccer and I was in the D team, and then all of a sudden I'm doing personal training.
Being surrounded by that.
Yes. So even being in your guys' community, as somebody who has no idea where to start, there's people in there that are posting all the time. There's people you can build relationships with, reach out. How's the start been for you? What mistakes would you avoid? A lot of people, I think, the mistake they make is they join a community and hope shit's going to happen. Where if you go out and be intentional with your communication, and it's not. I think most people feel that imposter syndrome come out then, because it's the first time they're reaching out. They don't really know what questions to ask.
What am I doing? Am I doing it wrong?
Exactly. And so that's something that Paul was very big on, and being able to be around A players. I don't think I was an A player going into Educate, or at that time GYA. I think I became an A player, and I'm proud to say that that's what was mentioned on team calls and things like that as well. And it makes me feel very good. But you earn it. It's like it's a status symbol, I think, to become an A player, and I think everybody has the chance to become an A player.
Got to earn your stripes.
Yes. Yeah. And so after working a while with them, I thought, okay, cool, I'm actually making some progress. I didn't sit and do nothing. Like, I didn't go to work and do my calls and then stop. I would always look at my call reviews. I'd take feedback. I'd sit and go, okay, cool, well, this is what I constantly speak about. How can I do this better? How can I improve this process? Who do I need to speak to share this idea with, to bring it to life? And I think that's what those characteristics of those A players are. Is if you're constantly trying to find a new solution or a better solution to a current problem, or you're finding a new problem, or you're assisting in the company's bigger vision, and they see that. And so you investing in them more makes them invest in you more. And that's how I managed to get to a point where I said to Paul, look, dude, because we have our one-on-ones every month or so, you'll say, what do you really want? I said, I want to have a seat at the table. I think I'm good enough to be part of leadership, or at least sub-leadership. Have my own department or be in charge of something, because that's the next step. He said, cool, we're transferring from this community, from Facebook to this community, run it. I was like, fuck, okay, what do I do? So I start researching, and I get onto leadership calls, and every single day he's going, not good enough, not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. And he's not doing that because it's not good enough. I know that he's not saying that because it's not good enough. He's saying that to say the standard needs to be higher. Your own standard. Lift it, lift it, lift it. Come to the call prepared with this. If I have a question, I have an answer. Or at least know where you're going to go if you don't have the answer. And so that's why I'd say Paul was, for me, my favorite CEO, obviously outside of Iman. But he's someone that I would bring into any business as well. Like he's really good at what he does. He knows how to direct people. And when I was in leadership, I would be on calls with Canada at 3, 4 a.m. in the morning trying to get guys awake. And I started noticing that because that's when I was working my hardest, where I'd phone other companies that are 3 times the size of us to say, get your guys on a call with me now because I need to get this done. And we have a launch date and you promised this and the contract is this and do this, that and the other thing. And Paul's like, sort it out. I was like, shit, okay, let's do that. And so even towards the end, we'd see people from CS go into SSC roles, into product. When we started seeing that succession happening in the company, then we knew we were doing something right. Because the standard was there and every single person that came in was kind of like you fit in or fuck off in a way. And you feel like an outsider if you don't meet the standard. So you either make a decision to join it or not. But again, I'd 100% recommend to anybody who wants to get into this space, find a position, whether it's support, you don't have to make $1 million a month. Find a place. I mean, even with you guys, if I was looking for a job, I'd come to you and say, I know you guys run the community. Do you need a community manager? Do you need someone to help us support emails or something like that? Can I be eyes somewhere? Can I job shadow? I need an opportunity to be closer to you so I can ask you questions and get better. Those, I think, would be the standout characteristics that you're looking for. No one's proactive anymore.
I think that's amazing, man. I think I would love to know, like, someone maybe on the outside, you're working with Iman or with Paul, and you're praising them and like, with the work ethic or whatever. What sets them apart to a large degree when you look at them, for example, to a average business owner or someone that might not be on their level, right? Like, I have an idea of how they work, but obviously I have no actual, idea. I just see success. I'm like, oh, I want to be as successful as Iman, but I am ignorant to,
work that's required.
Yeah.
That's why job shadow is so good, just to see them for one day, see like how they work. It's like, oh, okay, I
would pay a massive amount of money to just be shadow for a day, just to see. Like, I don't need to speak with him. I just want to see. What does he do actually, Like, I see the YouTube videos, I see that, but how does he film it? How much times does he retake the intro? Like, like how does he mumble these words like we do before the pod, Like, is he nervous before calls? Like, I would love to because if I can just see that, then I'm able to, once again, coming back to like the mentorship and the reinforcing the belief, it's like, then I can, justify my own not insecurities or my lack of what my humanity almost, because he's also human, right? But like, what sets him apart and his entire team?
Number one and number two, they both start with R's. It's resourcefulness and resilience. The resourcefulness is the thing that stands out.
Just they make it happen with whatever they have. It will just happen.
High water.
Yes,
it's done. Yeah.
It's like I used to introduce this to calls when I did my intros on the coaching calls. Was the resourcefulness, resilience, and there was another R. But those two specifically was like, you never give up until it's done, and you do whatever it takes to get it done. I've seen how he records videos and things like that. Put the record button on and do takes until you get it right. I think one of the things that he's probably made public is that he's tried to get better at being better in public and on calls and stuff. And he's moved into a position where he's now doing live events and stuff like that, which is huge for him. So he's a normal person. He's got his own insecurities and things like that, but he's also been doing it forever. But I think the resourcefulness and the resilience, and then just the fact that he also, it's not every single line is perfect all the time, but he will never stop. Like, he'll try and try again.
How does he create a team like that? Because you're speaking so highly of what's his name? Paul. I didn't even know like he was all that, right? Like, how did he go about getting? Because I mean, that team, I don't think Paul was with him anymore, right?
No.
But like, most of the people that's working with him now, like Alex or all the other guys, most of them just came from day one, right? Like, built up and still stay there. Like, are they just good incentivized, or like, how does he go about building a team like that?
The culture.
Really?
It's crazy. Dude, it's anyone would give their left nut to be there. And I say that in a weird way because I want to call it family, but it's more like it's a village that is expanding. That's what they stand for. Yeah. It's building for the guys that actually, like, he cares about the people that are on the calls with him when we do the group calls. Like, he literally will go, that kid's got something. Or I really want to help this person. Or there was one guy who would message me all the time, and he'd end up messing a lot of the guys, but we ended up getting on a team call, and I asked him, like, can you just send this guy a message from you? And he's like, hey dude, how's it going? Wow. And we sent him a message. So he knows what's going on the ground. But he kind of creates it in his image and in his standard, and then he lets people.
He's the visionary, right? He's leading the vision.
Yeah, let you prove yourself. Do you want to be here? Don't you want to be here? Same with Max. Max is now COO. Tristan was with him for a while. Max started as a SDR, I think, coming up into the sales role, and then into the ops role with Paul, and then becoming COO. Luis has been with him from the start. Alex left his agency he had locally that was doing well to go and work with him.
Oh, before the videography, did he have his own agency?
Yeah. Like the character, the type of person, it's like us.
Yeah.
It's you and me. It's a normal layman person that just connects with what the vision is of the company, and they kyk noord fok voort.
Kyk noord fok voort to the north.
Exactly. And it's amazing to be a part of. But it's the culture. It's we want to do better every single day. Death before dishonor, and don't be lame. Like that's the
death before dishonor. Don't be lame.
Don't be boring.
That's like all vibes.
Yeah, that was my biggest fear of getting let go, was that I was too lame.
Too lame.
But I guess not.
And the like, I'm very fascinated about this entire idea of like the culture, right? It's because that's obviously it's a bigger team. We don't really have a big team, but obviously I want to mimic that, right? How do I build a good culture, a healthy culture?
You need to give a shit about the people that are there.
Yeah.
Like, to a point where you don't have to be best mates or anything like that, but you need to know what they want as well. And I'd say that if you can set the tone and go, okay, cool, well, let's say we have the Bet Everyday channel. He's present in there, everybody else is present in there, and if you're not showing up, you're not part of the culture. The kind of work that you present, is it at the highest standard or is it not at the highest standard? It's paying attention to where people are at in their journey, and then going, okay, cool, well, this is where you want to go in the future. How can I make it this home for you right now and give you the best experience possible? And do the events, the company events. You meet in person. It's an online business, which is even more difficult, I'd argue, than creating a culture in a local company.
Because you're not seeing each other like every day, right? Like that's something we've been valuing a lot more now, is doing these like little dinners in person events. It's amazing, bro. Like we did one yesterday and one prior last week, and I'm trying to do it more. Obviously, it's also like I like working online or whatever, but there's something different when you're in person and you just see. You don't necessarily speak business, but also like everything that André and I speak about outside of our work hours is still business, right? Like that's our life, where we enjoy this. So it is like unconsciously business, but it's fun to do that out of a work environment in person. Being able to like just touch someone or just seeing, it's different. Shaking someone's hands and just seeing it, like looking in his eyes, right? Like or at dinner. It's a different ball game, right, compared to the online thing.
One thing I've also realized, it's not always about business, even on the business channels, Slack channels. It's like what was one of the things, the Murph?
Oh, yes.
Where it's like running 10 kilometers and doing all these things. Like when you invest in something or when you work for something, right? Like everyone's posting on there. If you're not posting, you're like, shit, I need to post. And then if you work towards it, even physically, you feel you value it more. And you work for it, and then
So that's the other R, was responsibility.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
So that's
resilience, resourcefulness, and responsibility.
Yes.
Love that.
So taking responsibility for everything you're doing, posting in the channel when you feel like you need to post in the channel.
No, they're not forcing you, but you almost feel compelled to do it.
100%.
And do they keep you like accountable? Like, is there like a lot of calls they go through to sort of check up, like, or not?
No. It's just like everyone does it, so that's the accountability. It's like running the marathon, like you said, and everyone's running, and you're like. They're not saying like you should do it. Maybe there's like a bit of encouragement, but they're not telling you to do it. It's everyone. You just feel like a bitch, basically.
What I'm trying to get at is like then they probably reinforce the people that do respond, or it's almost like they position themselves in a place of authority, or that you want to be acknowledged by them, right?
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta lead by example. So, for example, if you imagine he was fat, or imagine like I'm a little bit overweight, so I can't expect my guys that work for me to be
To run a
skinny
marathon.
and
Oh,
run a
okay.
marathon
Shredded
and
or-
show
yeah.
up like.
He can't tell us run a marathon and then like not do it with like the
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
Like,
You have to lead from the
completely
front.
pointless,
Yeah,
right?
and then he goes and does 3 in 1 week,
Ah,
and finishes every single one of them.
Fuck yeah, that's a different thing, right?
So he sets the tone, he leads by example, and then he makes sure that the resourcefulness, responsibility, and
Yeah.
resilience is in place in every single person.
You're just being better, doing more.
100% every fucking day.
That's the thing, right? You just need to. If you are leading a team, right? They need to respect you, and
Yeah.
you need to lead by. You need to. You can't
Yeah.
be slacking, and now because then someone else is going to be like, well, why am I working for you, right? Like I can do this. I can do it better.
Let's add another R to that. So you said respect. Let's add relationships, resourcefulness, resilience, and responsibility.
Yeah.
It's the R5 framework for School of
Yeah.
Athens.
Yeah.
Those 5 things, you
Respect,
got that
responsibility.
sorted, you're good to go. You can be successful. But yeah, and that leading to me was, for me, I think going into the company there, I was lacking a lot of self-worth and a lot of like, I had some confidence and I think I was still very delusional. But going in there, they set the tone and I was like, okay, cool, let's go.
Yeah.
And then I started believing in myself
Yeah.
and I was like, holy
Yeah.
shit, I'm actually really good at this.
That's normal, right? There was a lot of contrast in the beginning, right? Like you were, you see, fuck, and they're working on a different level, which is amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you start seeing, okay, wait, no, I'm improving. Oh, I can be better. And then you start proving your what do you call that? Like limiting beliefs, sort of
Yeah.
like wrong. It's like, no shit, like I can maybe do this, right? Like maybe in the beginning you are justified to believe that you're imposter because you fucking maybe are, right? You don't belong here right now. But then when you start seeing that improvement, it gets better. Right, and that feeling is addictive.
Yeah.
Is being able to see that through hard work or through discipline or through something you can control, you can change your reality.
Yes.
Like you don't need to be born. Like you can be born in Goodwood, and you don't, and you can end up working with Iman. Like that is a reality. If obviously you had to go through shit, right? You had to do the discipline. You had to work sharper. You didn't want to put in the extra work, but that feeling of being able to take responsibility and be resourceful, right? Then you are able to be respected at the back end.
Yeah,
That is
one thing I've realized in your story is that doesn't matter what position you're in, you gave it your all. You know, it's not, even if you're at the complete bottom of the ranks, I don't know, like,
kicked out of your house, like
no, it's just like the, like maybe working for a company, you're at the bottom of the ranks, just like, I don't know, what's like the, you know, it's not like you are CEO or something, you're completely bottom, but you give it your best, and then someone acknowledges like, okay, he's doing pretty well, let's upgrade him.
Yeah.
But most people, they're like, no, I want to be, you know, the sales manager, but they can't even be a setter, you know? You need to be like the best setter, and it's like, okay, you know that pretty well, let's upgrade you to setter manager. And then you give it your best there, even though you want to become a sales manager, you need to do your best at every single rung.
Yeah. I've got another guy named Storm that was in the Operator OS group that I teach, free group. There's like 6 guys, and I told him to do an audit for a company like Burnt or something like that.
yeah.
I said, just do an audit so I can see what you understand about what you're doing. Go deeper, go deeper, go deeper, go deeper, go deeper. He ended up signing up a company called Prime Self. You guys
Oh, yeah.
Supplements.
Yeah.
I know
to
them.
do a
Well, they're
abandonment sequence. 6 grand, 6,000 rand. Not USD, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
still.
Yeah.
Like he went from coming onto the call going, I don't know what to sell, or this is what I do for e-commerce brand. You get a lot of those guys that come in and go, here's my offer. I've had a guy come to me, or guys come to me and be like, we're gonna do your email, this, that, and the other thing, copy for socials, all that for $2,300 a month, and they didn't ask me what I want to do. So the process is completely out of whack. That's what I love about what you guys are doing, is that you give the foundations and the fundamentals, and it's there for the taking.
For free, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like you don't need more information than what's already there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can speak to that 100%.
Yeah.
So taking it back to where you were before working with Iman, maybe someone listening is in a similar situation. They're not working a job they want to, not making the money they want to. What would you tell them to, like the best piece of advice in that current situation where obviously they want more, but they're not currently there yet?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to identify that you know that where you are now is not where you want to be. So understanding your current state,
That is not the end.
and then it's not the end. We're watching the best Marigold Hotel or something like that last night, and you're saying everything will be all right in the end, and if it's not,
all right,
it's
it's
not
not
the
the
end.
end.
not the end. That's the one. And so understanding where you are right now, knowing where you want to go, so mapping it out, because
Getting crystal clear.
crystal clear. Listen to the music that you're going to listen to there. If you want to know what it's like to drive a Mercedes GLE, go sit in the car
Or rent it for a day.
or rent
Yeah,
it for the
yeah,
day.
yeah.
You know, stuff like that. And then the very next step is knowing what you're doing there and what that number is over there. Go and speak to 10 people at minimum, or as many people as possible in your circle. Go build the relationships and find out who you know that has a business or works for a company that has some leverage in the meetings and things like that. Find out what problems they have, and then go and figure out what the solution is that you can give those people. It's a slow burn at the start, but understanding the fundamentals really comes down to identifying a problem, providing a solution for a fee.
Yeah.
And you can start off getting a little bit of money. I mean, the thing that I want people to realize is, especially what you guys are doing locally, is you don't have to be a millionaire overnight. Like you could, your first year you could make $100, $200, $500, $1,000, and your next year you can make 10K a month, and then 20K and 30K. So it's all like doing the basics and understanding the fundamentals first, and then investing in mentorship and going in, like you guys have a free group, joining the coaching calls, asking the questions. Doesn't matter how shy you are. It doesn't matter if it's a stupid question to start with, because we all, that's one of the things that people don't know how to do, is ask the right questions. And so leaning on you guys for that, those answers as well. But yeah, I would do exactly what I did. Find a person that has a problem, or ask the question to find out what the problem is, and then present a solution.
Whether it be website, whether it be video editing,
And then
try
figure it out.
something, right?
Figure it out,
Like
yeah.
Figure it
that's-
out.
That is definitely, I would say, a theme of your story, and maybe a testimony to your situation was, and this is what you mentioned previously, right? It's not necessarily a lack of resources why you don't have what you want, but it's a lack of resourcefulness.
Yes.
Right? It's a lack of not being able to tap into the potential of what you have.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there's no real other way to look at this, right? Like I feel like this is the only way to believe, but I believe that whatever situation you might be in that you feel is like a negative, or like something that's like a con to your life, you know, whether that be in a poor family, or you feel like it's a difficult culture to work out of, or like some people in South Africa feel like it's it's terrible to be born here because US clients don't want to work with us, which is completely the wrong way to believe. But I believe that God has given us all a situation that will strengthen our future if we are able to pursue through that, right? Like that's at least what I believe, right? Like I think I had a lot of things that was working against me that I had to work through, but I'm stronger because I worked through that, right?
Yeah.
I prayed for a lot of things that I have right now, but there was a time that I was going through that, and I'm like, fuck, there's a lot of responsibility. Can I handle this? I'm nervous. On my first fucking Q&A call with this community that I dreamt of, now I need to jump on a call with 40 people. It's like, fuck, they're here for me. Can I serve? Can I do this now?
Yeah.
And like, then you start to realize, like, fuck, you need to be careful what you pray for, bro.
Yes.
And but I think resourcefulness is what you mentioned, bro. That's sticking to me now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like when I go to a coffee shop, I look at, okay, cool, this plastic costs money, this plastic costs money. Where did they get this? Where did they get their coffee? What's the name of the company on the coffee? Can I Google that company? Are they local or they international? Can I phone them and ask them how they do certain things? This is where I say, for me, the school, we're going to get into this. School, we didn't really pay a lot of attention in school. It was a lot of fun. But one thing that stuck with me in business was vertical integration. And there was like fruit and veg, where it became food lovers bought the farms to produce their own fruit and veg to sell to themselves. So they own that whole supply chain. And I think that's really what I think people should think about, is the customer's customer, and that the fact that the Pick and Pays aren't necessarily the end user, it's the customer that's the end user. And Pick and Pay also pays somebody to get the stock, and those people also pay someone to get the raw materials, and those people also pay. So there's opportunity in every single one. Like, for example, there's guys out there that do boring businesses, they call them now, toilet paper. Hotels, lots of rooms. People go to the bathroom all the time. Maybe you don't flush, maybe you do, and the toilet gets clogged because of the toilet paper. And so what he's invented is a material that dissolves in water. So now they save money on maintenance at least once or twice a year because they don't have to check the toilets or fix the toilets. But he's got a product every hotel wants. But that's only through going through the steps of understanding it. But yeah, I'd say...
And that's finding a problem, solution.
Solution.
So people are looking for this like one idea walking on the beach, like this $1 million idea, but you should actually be looking for problems in the world.
Yeah.
And just do the complete opposite and provide the solution.
And people complain enough. There's a lot of problems.
Yeah, just find where people are complaining and be like, okay.
Yeah. And it's I mean, I also like, just looking back at our story, your story now as well, it's like to find solutions or to find problems, you need to expose yourself to the market, right? Because like if you're sitting at home now trying to make money online, but you have no experience with that, you're gonna feel anxious. You have no experience. You have nothing to see even problems. You don't even know what questions to ask yet. Like you're completely ignorant.
Yeah.
So get your foot in the door with anything, right? Like
start talking to people in your niche specifically,
and get exposed to people. Fuck, like just reach out to someone. Like a big thing is right, like. Something that really changed things for me was Jordan Peterson at this program. I think it's a self-authoring program or something where he essentially helps you find your purpose or something down that line, right? And the main thing that stuck with me from that was like in the beginning, I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I knew like, fuck, if I could just get something, I know I can go balls to the wall and I can make this thing happen, right?
Yeah.
But I never knew what to do. And he just said, well, if you don't know what to do, the best thing you can do is set a goal, work towards it, and then after 3 to 6 months, assess, and realign. And now at the very least, you know what you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And by pursuing that one goal, new doors will open. You'll find your interest. You'll find what you're passionate about, and then you can maybe pivot into something different.
Yes.
And that's exactly what I did. I knew I wanted to make money. For me, a big thing was like real estate. I'm like, okay, let's pivot into real estate. Started doing sales. Sales was ass. So then I pivoted into the marketing. I started doing videos and photos from an opportunity I got from there for the real estate. That led to me starting my own production team. Like I previously mentioned, getting 1 or 2 clients from a dinner. And now I'm on this online business space. We did the agency. We're now doing info.
Yeah.
I never dreamt of doing this. 4 years ago, it happens.
Yeah.
But I must say something crazy. My first year I did a gap year. And at the end of that gap year, I had to solidify what is like the main profession that I see myself doing. And one of the options was a traveling podcast.
No
4
ways.
years ago. I promise you, I wrote it down. And I remember, like, imagine like your father pays like 60,000 Rand for the schooling thing. And like your thesis was to, okay, where do they feel like they can place my son in the world, to make money? And this fucking Lighty comes back and says traveling podcast. What is that even? And I mean, this is exactly what we're doing right now. So like you mentioned as well, clarity and the self-belief to make it happen, right? What do you want to do? And figure it out,
Yeah, that's sick, dude. I mean, you guys shot in Dubai as well. And with that, there was a 6th R that I wanted to add in there, is replicate.
Oh, replicate.
Yeah, because
we go so many
like
R's
that.
now.
yeah, there's so many R's.
R's.
Yeah.
The 6 R's to financial
Success.
So
freedom.
you could say you could make it. Let's make it 6 R's equals 6 figures, right? So
6
every
R's to
R
6
is-
figures.
Yeah.
6 R's to 6 figures. I like that.
Talking about people not asking the right questions or knowing what to ask, I do have a resource that I can give you guys for the people that are watching.
Yeah, please, we'll link
It's
it down on
called-
the description.
Yeah, client digital ecosystem basic website, socials, ad library, ops. If they ask a question and they don't have an answer to it, there's an opportunity how to spot it. It's not branded or anything like that, so you can make it yours.
Thanks, man.
But yeah, it's sick. I love it. People use it, they win.
Yeah.
But yeah, love it. 6 R's to 6
Listen,
figures.
I think this is a wonderful place to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Storm, I appreciate you for being here and for doing this podcast with us.
Thanks,
It was
Lindsay. It's great.
very
brother.
interesting
Thank you.
to hear your story, and I hope
People
this
can
could
find some
serve the
inspiration
people
from
that's
this.
watching this. If you made it thus far, just comment a blueberry emoji so we can see who made it. But we'll link all your socials down in the description and the resource that you mentioned. I appreciate that. But yeah, I think you're doing good work, man. And I think if people actually stuck to you, I think they would have learned a lot. And I wish you all the best with your family.
Thank you.
I know you are turning into a father soon,
Yeah.
which is very exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, you're gonna crush it, bro.
Thanks, dude.
So yeah, thanks
You
for
guys
being
too.
here. Where can
Cheers.
people find you? I'll link everything in our description, but you can just mention what
What
you're
you
working on.
what you're working on.
Yeah.
What you see yourself in the next couple of years, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, no, Instagram, Storm Blight. Straightforward, that's the best place to find me. There's only one Storm Blight in the world at the moment. If it's more than one profile, it's all me. But yeah, 5-10 years from now, I'd say that we have the farm, we have the horses, we have the venue, we have the restaurant, we've got the hotel, the family's taken care of. Oliver's his name, he's all good to go. And I'm definitely in good shape. That's
go.
one
We should
thing.
hit another leg session.
Let's go.
Yeah. I'll be able to walk for a few days after that. Nah, fuck.
Cool.
But yeah, thanks, Wes.
Thanks, man. All right. Cheers.
Okay.
Amazing, bro. That was good.